Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Bert the Stormtrooper and this is the home of That's Just Prime, the comprehensive Optimus Prime review series. I also review other Transformers, lots of G1 stuff, as well as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, GoBots, and pretty much any other toy that may jump out at me. I also do the occasional arcade and pinball machine videos, unboxings, blogs, challenges, and miscellaneous videos where my daughter usually makes fun of me. Those are a lot of fun. If you're new to the channel, thanks for checking me out. Please be sure to click that subscribe button and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share if you like what you see. Hello and welcome, I'm Bert the Stormtrooper, and today we're going to be taking a look at another set of 3D printed accessories brought to us by Firetox. I love these toys and I love what Firetox does. Firetox puts out some really cool stuff. He's always coming up with new designs for add-ons and accessories for current and older figures. He comes up with them, he designs them, he makes the 3D print files, and then he puts them up on the internet free to download. So if you have a 3D printer or if you have access through a 3D printer, you can go to any of these. I'm going to put the links to any of these accessories or any of the stuff that he makes. You can download that file absolutely free and print it yourself, which is so cool that he does that. It is an absolutely amazing service that he provides. Of course, if you don't have access to a 3D printer, you can always reach out to Firetox and work something out with him to purchase some of his parts. So again, I am going to be putting a link down in the description to his Thingiverse website, and then I'm also going to be putting a link to each individual piece that we're seeing here today. And his latest stuff is so cool. So we're going to start off right here with this because I think this is such a cool little accessory that unfortunately I can't make use of. So for those of you with trained eyes, you know what you're looking at. This is the hoverboard from Back to the Future. And you might be wondering, why do we need a hoverboard from Back to the Future in Transformers? Well, if you've gotten yourself that gigawatt figure, the DeLorean, that is a Transformer, this is a perfect accessory for that figure. It's the thickness of this is perfect so that he can actually hold it in his hand. But then you also got that peg down there so you can actually peg his foot on there and you can actually have him ride a hoverboard. Very cool accessory for a figure that I unfortunately don't have, but still very cool nonetheless. And of course you can paint these and kind of customize them if you wish, and you're going to see a little bit of that here in some of the other accessories. So we'll take the hoverboard, we'll set it off to the side because unfortunately I can't do anything with that. All right, the next one that we've got, this is a sword for CYCLONUS, and I'm wondering if he's got an actual name for this. I think it's called the CYCLONUS Great Sword. I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway, here he is. And this is very cool because you've got the sheath and then you also have the sword that actually pulls out. Now, I'm going to admit some ignorance here. I don't know what the deal is with Cyclone. I can't get this thing to focus. I'm trying to get it to focus so that we can get the... Why can't I focus? This is a new camera, guys. So I am learning my new camera here. So anyway, that looks like that's the best that we're going to do. So yeah, check that out. So a lot of very cool detail on this sword. And again, I'm going to admit to some ignorance here because I don't know what the deal is with CYCLONUS and the sword. I'm guessing that's a comic book thing because in G1, obviously, CYCLONUS did not have a sword. So I don't know what this is about, but this is a very cool accessory that actually works really nicely. So we'll go ahead and bring in CYCLONUS and we'll move the camera up now. And so the way this works, obviously, he can hold this in his hand. Now, on the swords, both this one and the next sword that I'm going to show you, these handles can be a little thick. So when you get these, if you go to put it in his hand and it doesn't go in right away, don't force it because you might break it. Take a little bit of sandpaper and just kind of sand this down a little bit, make it a little thinner, and then it'll work in his hands perfectly fine. Same thing goes for the Grimlock Sword, which I'll be showing off next. But as you can see, he can hold his sword right there, and then you can take the sheath, because it's got that peg right there on the side, you can actually peg this to what was the roof of the canopy, which is right on his back. And I think that these purples actually match up really nicely. So you can have it straight up and down like that if you wish, or you can have it a little bit to the side. It's completely up to you. And again, I don't know the story behind this, so I don't know if there's a this is a mess. I don't know if there's a specific way for him to actually have it sheathed, but there you go. I think it goes in easier one way than the other. Yeah, there you go. So that went easier that way. But there you go. You can sheath the sword and you can just have it stored right there on his back. And you got the little handle sticking out right there on the side. I think that looks pretty cool. And again, you can just turn it around. You can just unsheath it. Okay, I'm glad that happened because I'd forgotten about that. So let me pull this out. That did not break, by the way. So I'm actually glad that happened. I'd forgotten about that. So you can actually, the handle and the sword are two different pieces. So you can actually pop these together just like that, or you can separate them. Again, I don't know. I can imagine that maybe this is like just a handle, and then it's kind of like a lightsaber thing you would activate and the sword would come out. Again, I don't know anything about the story behind Cyclonus and a sword, so I'm making guesses here. You tell me. I don't know. But yeah, I'd forgotten that these two pieces separated. That is by design. These are two separately printed 3D pieces. I don't know if there's a story behind them actually separating it, or if it's just printed as two different pieces because that's the way it needed to be printed, and then you just want to glue them together. I don't know. But anyway, there it is. Yeah, nothing broke there just now. So anyway, you can unsheath it and you can put it in his hand. And of course, again, you can paint these and customize them if you want to make this a different color, whatever the case may be. But there you go. There's Cyclonus with his sheath and his sword. Very, very cool. Next one. Sword for Grimlock, based on the sword that came with the G1 figure. Very, very cool. A lot of cool detail on this. Check out that handle. Check out that just look at this. I mean, you got the little bumps right there. You actually have the edge where the sword actually folds between the back and the front of the sword, and also up here on the edge. It's so nicely detailed. This thing looks very, very cool. And again, same as the sword for Cyclonus, the handle on this can come a little thick when you first get it or when you first print it. So just be aware of that when this is ready. If you go to put it in Grimlock's hand and it doesn't go in that easily like it did just now, don't force it. Just take it out, get a little bit of sanding paper, just sand down the handle a little bit, and then it'll work. There you go. Look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. Kato also did a review on this sword, and I think he shared the same thoughts about the handle. I think his was also a little thick, so I think that's just a thing with the print, the print file itself, where the handle's going to come out a little thick. But it's actually not a bad thing, because it's better to take off a little bit. It would be worse if it was too thin and it just flopped around in his hand, because then you can't add more material, right? So it's better than it comes a little thick and you file it down a little bit. Let me do this. Let me flip these guys. Since Grimlock is so big, I want to put him a little further in the back there. Make sure he's still in shot, and then we'll get Cyclonus right here. And Grimlock apparently wants to ride the hoverboard. There you go. Okay, next accessory. I absolutely love this accessory. This is the what we have, kind of an internal inside joke amongst reviewers. We have dubbed this the CHEETOR Peter. This is a gun for Kingdom CHEETOR, and as you can see, it is molded to look exactly like his weapon in the show. Very, very cool. A lot of cool detail here. You can see all the little bumps and all the little details right there. Very, very nicely detailed. It looks just like the one in the show. Now, I did take a little bit of gold paint and just kind of add the details. And this was printed in yellow. Of course, you can print this in any color that you want, but I think yellow is going to be the way to go to make them match with CHEETOR. But yeah, so this was printed in yellow, and then I just took some gold and just kind of filled in a little bit of those details there, so you can fill that in. Now, I'm not going to go over transformation with this guy, but obviously that fits in his hand just perfectly. And there you go. Now CHEETOR's got an actual show accurate gun, which is very, very cool. Now, why do I mention transformation? Well, if you're familiar with this figure, if you watch my review or pretty much any other review of this, you know that when CHEETOR is in beast mode, the fists are showing on the bottom of the beast mode, right? So you can actually plug this into his hand and have it stored in his belly, just like the original, I almost said G1, but the original Beast Wars figure, where this was actually stored in his belly. You can do that with this guy as well. Of course, it sticks out a little bit, hence the name CHEETOR Peter that we've all kind of jokingly given it. But there you go. Very, very cool. Absolutely love that. It just really completes the look for CHEETOR, having that gun like right there. It is so, so cool. Absolutely love that accessory. One of my absolute favorite. I mean, well, all of these accessories, that I can't really pick a favorite. If I had to pick a not favorite, I guess would be this because I don't have gigawatt. But that is still such a cool accessory. I mean, you could give this to anybody and it'll work. That's such a cool little accessory. All right, this next one is right up my alley. Let me see. All right, let me move down the camera a little bit so you can see these guys right here. All right, what is this? This is the Ghost Trap from Ghostbusters, and you can see here he's printed 2 of these off. He's printed one in gray, he's printed one in black with the yellow doors, and then I've gone ahead and added details on the gray one. All I did really on the gray one was just add the red there for the tubes, and that's kind of about it. And if you have Ectotron, then this is perfect for this figure. So what I'm doing is I'm having Ectotron hold this gray one in his hand, and I just kind of have him hold it like this. Let me actually bring it down a little bit because I like it facing forward. That's just a kind of a me thing. Right, so I've been having him hold it like this, kind of at an angle. And there you go. So there's Ectotron holding that trap. Now, there's a little more to this. All right, so you've got these little pieces here. All right, and what this is, these are streams for the trap. So if you open the trap, you see that the doors are little separate pieces and there's a hole in there, okay? This is so cool. You can take one of your blast effects and you're gonna wanna go with one of the shorter, more shallow ones, okay? And this is gonna pop perfectly right in there. So you just work that in there, and I like to go with, you see how this particular blast effect has a big V opening on these 2 flames? That's what I'm pointing towards the handle, so it'll fit in there. Really nice. Okay, now you can take any one of these. You just pick a size, whichever size you like. I'm going to go with a long one, and this will plug into the inside of your blast effect, just like that. All right, now if you have the Slimer, if you have Ectotron, you have Slimer. This is a Slimer that came with Ectotron. Mine is the original release. Let me rearrange these guys just a little bit so we can get everybody in there. Okay, so mine is the original release, right? There's a newer version that's got like the dirt on them, and that comes with a second ghost, hence the 2 traps and the 2 multiple streams and all of that, right? But anyway, this Slimer has a little hole on the bottom of him. So then you can take him and peg him right in there, and now you're actually actively trapping Slimer. Check that out. How very cool is that? That just look, this is right up my alley. And again, I've added this was all black with the yellow doors, and I just went in, and this was super simple. I just took Sharpie. No, this was paint pen. The red was paint pen. The silver was Sharpie. So just a little silver there, a little silver there, and a little silver here. That's really all. Oh, and a little silver right here on the top. That's all I did to this. And look at how perfect this looks. This is so cool. So there you go. And again, I'll be putting links to every one of these. So I'm going to put a link to Firetox's Thingiverse website, so you can look at all of the accessories that he makes. Again, he makes these and puts the files up for free. You can download them, you can print them yourself at no cost. If you don't have access to a 3D printer, then you can reach out to him as well and work something out with him for purchasing parts or for purchasing these accessories. So I'll put a link to Firetox's Thingiverse website up here, but I am also going to put links to each individual piece that you see here. I know that he is working on a PKE meter for Ectotron as well. It's a PKE meter based on the animated series, on the real Ghostbusters cartoon. And I think he's going to do something where he's going to offer them as a bundle, where you can get the one file will print both or something like that. He just sent me pictures of his first couple of prints on it, and it looks absolutely delicious. That's really kind of the only word for it. It's printed in blue with the yellow arms that come up on the top. It looks so cool. You guys know me, I'm a big Ghostbusters nerd, so I love this stuff. And yeah, I think that about does it for the newest batch of 3D printed accessories from Firetox. What did you think of these? Let me know down in the comments. Give me some thumbs up. By all means, go to Thingiverse, go to Firetox's website, check out his stuff. Very cool. Subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified when I upload a new video. I've got a donate button up there. If you want to hit on that, I certainly would appreciate it. Please share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time.